What if the most powerful prayer you'll ever need is already in the Bible? Isaiah 43 shows us God's unwavering promise. Are you ready to walk in His presence? In a world full of uncertainty, Isaiah 43 reminds us that we are never alone. Do you believe God's presence is with you every step of the way? Fear, doubt, and worrying can consume us. But Isaiah 43 speaks truth over those lies. God has called you by name, and He will never leave you. Let's dive in. Isaiah 43 is more than just a passage. It's a profound declaration from God Himself. It's a reminder that no matter the challenges or struggles you face, no matter what the world throws at you, His presence is always with you. This isn't just a fleeting promise. It's a divine assurance that when God calls you, He doesn't merely call you to survive, He calls you to walk with boldness in His presence. I have called you by name. You are mine. These words are not a mere suggestion. They are a declaration from the Almighty. Do you truly grasp the significance of those words? The God who created the heavens and the earth, the one who formed the seas and set the stars in place, knows your name. He didn't simply speak the universe into existence and then leave you to fend for yourself. No, He is with you, and He wants you to understand that beyond the chaos of this world, beyond the battles and struggles you face, there is a presence that never leaves. This presence is not just a distant idea, it is the very presence of God Himself. So many people today are desperately seeking something real. They chase after success, relationships, and validation from the world, yet still feel empty inside. They move from one pursuit to the next, hoping that something, anything, will finally bring them peace. But listen closely, true peace will never be found apart from the presence of God. You may have all the money in the world, all the influence, all the recognition, but if you don't have God's presence in your life, you will still feel lost. You were created for Him, and the enemy knows this. He will do everything in his power to make you doubt whether God is with you, whispering lies to make you believe you are forgotten, that you're not enough, or that God is distant. But Isaiah 43 tells us the truth. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. When God calls you His, He means it. He doesn't abandon His own. He doesn't walk away, and He doesn't forget. But here's the key. Do you live like you believe this? Do you walk as though you are a child of God, knowing His presence is going before you? Or do you live in fear, questioning whether He still sees you? You see, it's one thing to hear the promise, but it's another thing to believe it. And when you truly believe that His presence is with you, everything changes. Moses understood this when God called him to lead Israel. He didn't ask for more signs, more miracles, or even more strength. Instead, Moses said, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." He knew that without God's presence, nothing else mattered. That is the kind of posture we need today, not chasing temporary blessings, not seeking what the world offers, but simply saying, "Lord, if your presence is not in it, then we don't want it." When God's presence is with you, fear has no place. Anxiety must bow and confusion cannot remain. You may walk through difficult seasons, but you will never walk alone. Challenges may come, but you will not be defeated. The presence of God is your shield, your covering, your refuge. Isaiah 43 reminds us that no matter what we go through, God is with us, not just watching from afar or giving instructions from heaven, but with us in every moment, guiding us through every struggle. When you are struggling, He is with you. When you feel forgotten, He is with you. When you don't have the answers, He is still there, walking beside you. When you don't have the answers, God is still there. And when you pray, when you seek Him, when you call on His name, you're not just speaking into the air. No, you are speaking to the God who hears, the God who knows, the God who moves on behalf of His people. I know some of you may be thinking, "But I don't feel Him." Let me tell you this, faith is not about feeling. Faith is about believing in what God has said. And He has said, "I have called you by name. You are mine." This means that even when you don't feel Him, He is there. Even when life feels heavy and the world seems to weigh down on you, His presence has not left. The moment you start to pray, the moment you lift your hands and surrender, you will begin to feel what was there all along. You are never alone, so I want to ask you right now, are you living in the confidence of His presence? Or are you walking in fear, wondering if He's still with you? The truth is, you don't have to beg for His presence, and you don't have to chase Him. He has already promised it. All you need to do is step into it, pray with expectation, walk with assurance, and live with the unshakable confidence that you belong to Him. And when you do, everything will change, fear will lose its grip, and doubt will begin to fade. You won't walk through life barely making it, just surviving. No, you will walk as a child of the Most High God, secure in the presence of the One who called you by name. Fear is a thief. It creeps in when you least expect it, whispering lies that try to shake your faith, trying to convince you that you are alone, that you're not enough, or that you're too far gone. But hear me, fear is not from God. Isaiah 43 tells us, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you." That is not a suggestion, it is a command from the Almighty. Fear is not just an emotion, it's a spiritual battle. The enemy will use fear to keep you from stepping into the life God has prepared for you. He will use fear to make you question your worth, your purpose, and even your salvation. But God's word is clear. You don't have to live in fear because you have been redeemed. And redemption is not temporary. It is not based on how you feel or what you've done. It's the unshakable truth that when God calls you His, nothing can separate you from Him. Now, I don't know what you've been through, the battles you've had to fight, or the weight you've been carrying, but I do know this. God's redemption is greater than your past. Some of you have been carrying guilt and shame for far too long, believing the lie that what you've done is too bad, that you've gone too far, that God couldn't possibly love you after everything. But listen, Isaiah 43 doesn't say, "Fear not unless you've made too many mistakes." It doesn't say, "Fear not unless you've failed too many times." No, it says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you." That means your past does not define you. Your failures do not define you. And when God redeems something, He doesn't just pull you out of darkness and leave you broken. He makes you new. He gives you a new name, a new identity, a new future. The world may try to remind you of your past, but God says, "You are mine." Do you hear that? You are His. That is why you don't have to fear. Because if you belong to God, what can the enemy do to you? If you belong to God, what can the world take from you? Some of you have been living in fear, thinking that your past mistakes will forever define you. But let me assure you, if you belong to God, you are not defined by your failures. You are defined by His love, His grace, and the redemption He has given you. Nothing in this world can take that away from you. Some of you have been living in fear because you're trying to fight battles that only God can win. You're trying to prove yourself, trying to fix things in your own strength, trying to control outcomes that were never meant to be in your hands. But let me tell you something. Redemption is God's work, not yours. That means you don't have to carry the weight of it. You don't have to fix yourself before you come to Him. You don't have to earn His love. He has already redeemed you. And when you realize that, fear loses its power. Fear thrives in uncertainty. It makes you ask, what if God doesn't come through? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail again? But faith says, I don't have to have all the answers. I just have to trust the one who does. When you know that you are redeemed, you stop living like a prisoner to fear. You stop running from your past, and you start walking in the confidence of your salvation. There is something powerful about a person who truly knows they are redeemed. They don't live in fear of people's opinions. They don't let their past mistakes hold them back. They don't shrink back when life gets hard because they know that no matter what happens, they belong to God. And when you belong to God, you are never without hope. So let me ask you, are you living like someone who has been redeemed? Or are you still letting fear have a say in your life? The truth is, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Not of your past, not of your future, not of what people think. not of what tomorrow holds. Because the one who redeemed you holds it all in his hands, and he is not going to let you go. If you ever doubt that, if you ever wonder whether he still sees you, whether he still loves you, whether he is still with you, remember this: fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. That is the voice of your Father speaking. That is the voice of the one who paid the price for you. And when he calls you his, nothing can take that away. Life will test you. There will be moments when the waters rise so high you feel like you're drowning. When the fire gets so hot, you wonder if you'll make it through. But hear me, God never promised you wouldn't go through deep waters. He never said you wouldn't face the fire. What he promised was that when you walk through it, you will not be alone. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. That is the promise of Isaiah 43. That is the assurance of God's presence. Some of you are in a season where you feel like the waves just keep coming. You barely catch your breath before the next one hits. You're fighting battles that no one knows about, carrying burdens that feel too heavy to bear. And the enemy wants you to believe that because you're struggling, it must mean God has left you. He wants you to think that because you're in the fire, God must have abandoned you, but that is a lie. You see, the presence of trials does not mean the absence of God. It means He is right there with you, holding you up, making a way where there seems to be no way. Think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were thrown into the fire not because they did something wrong, but because they refused to bow. They didn't do anything wrong, but they refused to bow. And when King Nebuchadnezzar looked into that furnace, he didn't just see the three men who had been thrown in. He saw a fourth man walking with them, untouched by the flames. God didn't pull them out before they went in. He didn't stop them from facing the fire, but He was with them in it. And because of that, they came out without even the smell of smoke on them. That is the kind of God you serve. He is not just a God of the mountaintops. He is the God of the valleys, the storms, and the fire. He doesn't just show up when everything is easy. He walks with you through the hardest moments of your life, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like you can't take another step, when you're wondering how you're going to make it. He is there. And He is not just watching from a distance. He is holding you, guiding you straight, and strengthening you. But here's the thing, you have to walk through it. You can't give up in the middle of the fire. You can't stop in the middle of the storm. The enemy wants you to quit. He wants you to believe that this trial is the end of your story. But if you quit now, you will never see the victory waiting on the other side. Because God never said the fire wouldn't come. He said it wouldn't consume you. He never said the waters wouldn't rise. He said they wouldn't sweep you away. That means you can keep walking. You can keep believing because the one who walks with you is greater than anything that stands against you. Some of you need to stop asking, "Why am I going through this?" and start asking God, "What are you trying to show me in this?" Because sometimes the fire isn't there to destroy you. It's there to refine you. Sometimes the waters aren't there to drown you. They're there to teach you to trust Him in ways you never have before. And when you come out on the other side, you'll be stronger, wiser, and more rooted in His presence than ever before. The enemy thought this fire would take you out. He thought the waves would break you. He thought this storm would silence your faith. But what he didn't realize was that God was using it to make you unshakable. He was using it to show you that your faith is not in circumstances. It is in the unchanging, unmovable presence of the living God. So I believe that when you walk through this, when you come out on the other side, you are not alone. There is power in knowing who you belong to in a world that tries to label you, define you, and tell you who you are. There is something unshakable about standing firm in the identity God has given you. I have called you by name. You are mine. That is what Isaiah 43 declares. That is what the Lord Himself has spoken, and when God calls you His, nothing can take that away. Some of you have spent years trying to prove yourself, trying to earn love, trying to fit into places you were never meant to be. You've allowed the opinions of people to shape the way you see yourself. Maybe someone told you that you weren't good enough, and you believed it. Maybe life has beaten you down so many times that you've started to wonder if you even matter. But let me tell you something. You are not who the world says you are. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You belong to God, and when He says, "You are mine," He is not referring to a perfect version of you. He is not claiming only the parts of you that have it all together. He is calling you His even in your brokenness, in your weakness, and in the moments when you feel unworthy. His love for you is not based on your performance. It is rooted in who He is, and He is faithful. The enemy will try everything in his power to make you forget this truth. He will remind you of every failure, every flaw, and every reason why you should doubt yourself. He will use others to speak hurtful words over you, trying to tear you down. The enemy will plant seeds of insecurity and fear because if he can get you to question who you are, he can keep you from stepping into the greatness God has called you to. But listen closely, God did not call you by your failures. He did not call you by your past. He called you by your name. When the enemy says you are worthless, God says, "You are mine." When the world tells you that you will never be enough, God says, "You are mine." When your own heart is filled with doubt and fear, God's voice still declares, "You are mine." If you belong to God, nothing in this world can define you. Not rejection, not failure, not the opinions of others. Your worth does not come from how many people approve of you, nor from what you have or what you've accomplished. Your worth comes from the one who formed you, redeemed you, and called you His own. Do you understand what that means? It means you don't have to live for the approval of others. You don't have to keep striving, performing, or trying to prove your value. You can walk in confidence, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. Some of you have been living as if you are unwanted, as if you are forgotten, as if you have no place, no purpose, no belonging. But God is saying to you today, "You are mine." You don't have to search for your identity in things that will never satisfy you. You don't have to let the wounds of your past dictate your future. You don't have to allow the voices of doubt to drown out the truth of God's love for you. Because when God calls you His, He is not making a temporary claim. He is not saying, "You are mine until you mess up again." He is not saying, "You are mine until life gets hard." No, He is saying, "You are mine forever." That is the kind of love He has for you, a love that does not waver, a love that does not fade, a love that holds you in the palm of His hand and refuses to let go. So stand firm in that truth. Walk in that confidence, no matter what comes against you, no matter who doubts you, no matter what battles you face. Remember this, He has called you by name, and you belong to Him. Fear is a thief. It will rob you of your peace, steal your joy, and keep you bound in chains that were never meant for you. It will whisper lies in the quiet places of your mind, telling you that you are not strong enough, not good enough, not worthy enough. But God's word declares something different. He says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." That is the promise of Isaiah 43, and it is the truth you must hold on to. Fear is not just a feeling. It is a strategy. If the enemy can keep you afraid, he can keep you from stepping into the life God has called you to live. But when you know who you belong to, when you trust in the truth of God's love and presence, fear loses its power. Some of you are facing battles right now that seem overwhelming, like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. You might feel like you can't take another step. You lie awake at night, wondering how things will work out, questioning whether God even hears you. And fear tries to convince you that you are alone, that you are powerless, that this situation is bigger than you. But listen to me, you are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not fighting this battle on your own strength. The God who spoke the universe into existence, the one who holds all things together, The God who calls you by name, He is with you. And if He is with you, then what do you have to fear? The enemy thrives on fear. He will use it to keep you stuck in the past, to make you doubt the future, to silence your faith, to paralyze your obedience, and to make you shrink back when you should be moving forward. But fear is a lie. Fear is a shadow. It has no real power. The moment you choose to trust God more than you fear the unknown, the moment you decide that His presence is greater than your circumstances, that is the moment fear loses its grip on you. Think about the disciples in the storm. The waves were crashing, the wind was howling, and their boat was being tossed like a leaf in the wind. They panicked, thinking they were going to die. Then they saw Jesus walking on the water. But instead of being comforted, they became even more afraid because fear will blind you to the presence of God. Fear will make you think He has abandoned you when, in reality, He is right there, standing in the middle of the storm with you. And what did Jesus say? Take courage. It is, I do not be afraid. That's what He is saying to you right now. Some of you have been waiting for the storm to calm down before you trust Him, waiting for the fear to go away before you step out in faith. But courage is not the absence of fear, it's trusting God in spite of it. It's choosing to believe that even if the storm doesn't stop, even if the waters keep rising, even if things don't go the way you planned, He is still with you. And if He is with you, then you can walk on the very thing that was meant to take you down. The enemy doesn't want you to know that. He wants you to stay in the boat, afraid to step out, afraid to trust, afraid to believe, but God is calling you higher. He is calling you to a faith that is stronger than fear, a confidence that is unshaken by circumstances. He is not asking you to figure it all out. He is asking you to trust Him. So, what is fear keeping you from today? What step of faith have you been afraid to take? What promise of God have you been afraid to believe? Because the moment you realize that fear has no place in the presence of God, the moment you choose to trust His voice over the voices of doubt and insecurity, that is the moment everything changes. You don't have to live in fear. You don't have to stay stuck in anxiety, worrying about things that are out of your control. You serve a God who holds all things in His hands, who walks with you through every fire, who speaks peace into every storm. And if He says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you," then that is enough. That is the promise you can stand on. This is the truth that sets you free. There are times in life when it feels like everything is working against you. You pray, but heaven seems silent. You push forward, but the road only gets harder. You try to stay strong, but weariness begins to settle in. And in these moments, it's easy to wonder, God, where are you? It's easy to think that maybe He has forgotten you, that maybe you have wandered too far, or that His promises no longer apply to you. But listen to me, God does not abandon His own. He does not forget the ones He has called by name. And when He says, I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, He is not just speaking poetically. He is declaring His power over every impossible situation in your life. Some of you feel like you are in a wilderness right now, a dry place, an empty place, a place where nothing seems to be moving. You've tried everything you know to do, but nothing changes. But the wilderness is not your final destination. The desert is not where your story ends. Why? Because God specializes in making a way where there is no way. He is the God who parted the Red Sea, who brought water from a rock, who fed His people with manna from heaven. He is not limited by what you see. He is not bound by the conditions of this world. Just because you don't see a way out right now does not mean He isn't making one. Think about the Israelites. They stood at the edge of the Red Sea with the Egyptian army closing in behind them. In their eyes, they were trapped. There was no way forward, no way to escape. But what did God say? Be still and see the salvation of the Lord. And in that moment, He did what no one expected. He made a way through the very thing that seemed impossible. That same God is with you. That same God is making a way in your life even if you can't see it yet. But here's the thing, God's way is not always the way you expect. Sometimes He parts the sea, and sometimes He gives you the strength to walk through the storm. Sometimes He removes the obstacle, and sometimes He calls you to climb it. His ways are higher than ours. His thoughts are beyond our understanding. And if you are in a season where the path ahead looks unclear, don't let doubt take over. Don't let fear dictate your next move. Just because you don't have all the answers doesn't mean God isn't working. The wilderness is where faith is refined. The desert is where trust is tested. When everything is stripped away, when you have no choice but to rely on Him, that is when you truly see His power. That is when you truly know His presence. And when He says, "I am making a way," it means He is already ahead of you, preparing the road, clearing the obstacles, making a path where there was none before. Some of you have been praying for a breakthrough, but it feels like the more you pray, the harder things get. But listen, sometimes the struggle is proof that God is moving. Sometimes the resistance means you are on the verge of something greater. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you so hard if there wasn't something powerful on the other side of this season. Do not grow weary. Do not give up. The God who promised to make a way in the wilderness is not a man that He should lie. His timing is perfect. His plan is sure. And if He said He will do it, He will do it. Keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting, because even in the driest places and the most impossible circumstances, He is making a way. This is the truth that sets you free. There are moments in life when it feels like everything is against you. You pray, but heaven seems silent. You push forward, but the road only gets harder. You try to stay strong, but weariness begins to settle in. In these moments, it's easy to wonder, God, where are you? It's easy to think that maybe He has forgotten you, or maybe you have wandered too far. You may question if His promises still apply to you. But let me remind you, God never abandons His own. He does not forget those He has called by name. When God says, "I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert," He is not speaking metaphorically. He is declaring His power over every impossible situation. Some of you may feel like you're trapped in a wilderness, a barren and empty place, where nothing seems to be moving. You've tried everything you can, but nothing changes. Yet, remember that the wilderness is not your final destination. The desert is not where your story ends. God specializes in making a way where there seems to be none. He is the God who parted the Red Sea, who brought water from a rock, and who fed His people with manna from heaven. Just because you can't see a way out right now doesn't mean He isn't making one for you. Think of the Israelites standing at the edge of the Red Sea, trapped between the sea and the approaching Egyptian army. In their eyes, there was no way forward, no escape. But God spoke, "Be still and see the salvation of the Lord." And in that moment, He did what no one expected. He made a way through what seemed impossible. That same God is with you, making a way for you, even when you can't see it yet. However, God's way is not always what we expect. Sometimes He parts the sea. Other times, He gives you the strength to walk through the storm. Sometimes He removes the obstacle, but other times, He calls you to climb it. His ways are higher than ours. His thoughts go beyond our understanding. If you're in a season where the path ahead looks unclear, don't let doubt take over. Just because you don't have all the answers doesn't mean God isn't working. The wilderness is where faith is refined, and the desert is where trust is tested. When everything is stripped away, and you have no choice but to rely on Him, that's when you truly see His power and experience His presence. And when God says, "I am making a way," it means He is already ahead of you, preparing the road, clearing obstacles, and creating a path where there was none before. Some of you have been praying for a breakthrough, but the more you pray, the harder things seem to get. But sometimes the struggle itself is proof that God is moving. The resistance means you're on the verge of something greater. The enemy wouldn't fight you so hard if something powerful weren't waiting on the other side of this season. So do not grow weary. Do not give up. The God who promised to make a way in the wilderness is faithful. His timing is perfect. His plan is sure. If He said He will do it, He will do it. Keep walking, keep believing, and keep trusting. Even in the driest places, even in the most impossible circumstances, He is making a way. Take a moment to reflect on this. Even when the path ahead is unclear and the challenges seem overwhelming, trust that God is making a way. Whatever you're going through, you are not walking alone. Keep your faith strong and remember, with God, every difficulty is an opportunity for His glory to shine through. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive more inspiring messages that will encourage you through life's trials. Share this video with others who need to hear this message and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's walk this journey of faith together. Isaiah 43 is more than just a passage. It's a profound declaration from God Himself, reminding us that no matter what challenges we face, His presence is always with us. Wenn bin MCC han fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. These powerful words reassure us that we are never alone. God's presence is not a fleeting promise. It's a divine assurance that He is with us through every trial. When life feels overwhelming and fear creeps in, remember Isaiah 43. No matter how deep the struggle, God is always there, guiding us through every storm. His presence provides peace, strength, and the confidence to face life with boldness. You were created for God, and His love and grace redefine your worth. Let this powerful message of Isaiah 43 strengthen you today. Do you trust in God's presence? It changes everything. Don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting messages. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this truth today.